Man, what's up, everybody? This is Life,
What it do, y'all? It's your boy Swallow.
and this is Just Do the Damn Thing podcast.
Yeah, don't quit.
Do the damn thing, do the damn thing, yeah. Do the damn thing, do the damn thing, yeah. Do the damn thing, do my damn thing. I'ma do my damn thing. I'ma do my damn thing.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Just Do the Damn Thing podcast. I think this is episode 64.
64, Nintendo 64, GoldenEye 007.
Man, that was my thing. I was playing Perfect Dark, Donkey Kong 64,
Mario Kart 64,
Super Smash Brothers. That
Mario
was
64.
Mario 64.
Man, Nintendo 64 was like one of the best consoles
of all
like,
time.
For sure. Like I think that's like when they first started introducing a joystick.
Exactly.
You
That
know
is
what I mean?
exactly
Took it
when
to another level.
Well, actually,
I
was
think
it-
like the Sega Genesis might have before that.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, there was always a joystick, but on the controller
Yeah,
itself.
exactly.
I think PlayStation and was. I'm trying to remember if PlayStation.
PlayStation was after 64 though.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
64 was the first one.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
Yeah.
Y'all, you guys can correct me in the
Yeah,
comments.
correct us if you. Yeah.
I don't remember at the top of my head at the
Mm-hmm.
moment. But anyway, this is episode 64. So what are we talking about, Suelo?
Yeah. Today is. What is today? Today we're talking about. My bad. I had to brain fart for a second.
It's all good. So today is
Today is Sunday.
Today is Sunday.
All right. The question for today is: does the law of attraction exist?
Exactly. You want to take this one?
Yeah,
first?
I'll
All
go ahead and set it off because I always tell people all the time the law of attraction is 100% real. You know,
Okay.
and another name for the law of attraction is karma. You know, so if you believe in karma, you pretty
Well,
much
I think
believe
that's
in the law of
I think
attraction.
that's the negative side of law of attraction.
Well, I'm not sure what the exact definition for karma is, but to my understanding was karma is whatever you put out, you get back in, whether it's good or bad.
Oh, I
You
thought
know?
karma was only
the bad?
only the negative thing.
Yeah,
where-
no, I think it's both,
Yeah.
to my understanding.
Oh,
But I don't
okay.
know. Maybe you guys know.
Hey,
Drop a comment
I've
below.
only heard it used in a negative sense.
Right,
So
yeah,
when
that's
somebody does
usually how
something
it's like,
stupid,
oh, that's his
oh,
karma.
That's instant karma right there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no. So I believe that it's 100% true. I firsthand have experienced it in my life. I've mentioned it in this podcast before, and whenever I just have, conversation with people, I always mention this. The biggest example that proved to me that the law of attraction is real is the day I met my wife. So obviously she wasn't my wife at the time. It was just a girl that I met. I attracted that into my life 100%. And not only did I attract that into my life, she attracted me into her life.
okay.
You know what I
okay.
mean? So it's crazy
I can actually kind of say the same thing.
with you and your wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Dope. Yeah.
Because just keep.
Okay.
finishing
All
it.
right. Okay. Yeah.
finish.
So let me go into my story, right? So I was a young buck, and I always knew that I wanted the one, right? I want that one woman to be loyal to be loyal to me, start a family, whatever. And, then I started to learn about the law of attraction about 18 years old or so, right? I watched The Secret, which we were doing some research. The Secret was the one that put me on to the law of attraction. And so basically what the law of attraction says, whatever you think about and you work towards and you keep that on your mind with positive thinking and gratitude, you can attract that into your life. So a big thing with the law of attraction that I tell a lot of people, it's more than just positive thinking. It's more than just wishing and thinking, if I just think about this thing over and over and over and over, it's going to happen in my life. That's not how it works. That is a big part of it. You have to visualize it. You have to wish it into existence. You got to speak it into existence. But just as important is you have to put in the work.
Yes,
Because all of that wishful thinking and all that sounds good. Putting it into the universe, speaking it to existence. Yes. But if you're not doing the work,
Just like when people pray for certain things. Like,
Yes.
I pray I get this job, but you don't do a damn thing to go get the job. It's
exactly,
like,
right? You getting your skills up, like
what
you
are you
researching,
doing?
like what? You
He's not
know?
gonna just give it to you. You gotta work
Exactly.
for it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, so that's a big thing about the law of attraction. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people leave out with the law of attraction. They don't talk about the work that comes with the positive thinking, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, to make a short story long, how I attracted my partner into my life was I said, okay, I want to have a loyal partner. So I had to become the loyal partner, meaning I had to become loyal to myself first. So what did I stop doing? Biggest thing is I stopped sleeping around. I stopped just having sex with any girl, right? Because how can I ask for a partner that's not sleeping around if I'm sleeping around? You know what I mean?
Okay,
That
I
doesn't
see.
make sense. Like,
Yeah,
how are
yeah,
you going to earn that? You know, how are you going to attract that into your life? Like, you know, if you want to say God, you know, God is not going to give you that because you haven't earned it. You haven't deserved it. So what did I do? I went on a 2-year celibacy. You know, I will admit I did slip up. I did a little couple things here and there. You know what I mean? But, you know, for the most part, I stayed loyal to myself in those 2 years. I wasn't sleeping around. You know, I was trying to better myself. I was reading. I was working on myself. I had cut back on drinking and smoking a lot, like almost to nothing. Like I had to become the person that I wanted to attract into my life. And then why I say that my wife attracted me into her life unknowingly, she told me this years after we met, she was doing the same thing. She No, she was even in a relationship at the time, but she wasn't happy in her relationship and she stopped, you know, having sex with the guy. She stopped, you know, talking to people. She stopped drinking, smoking. She started exercising and working on herself, you know, and she started to become the person she wanted in her life. So we attracted each other into our lives. So the law of attraction is 100% real if you're putting in the work. You're not going to be blessed with that thing you want if you don't become that thing first. You want a loyal partner, be loyal to yourself first. You know,
for sure, for sure.
so that's the number one story that I always share with people to prove to them that the law of attraction is real. And I try to talk to my brothers, the homies, whoever, like, a lot of people try to come to me for advice, you know, for relationship advice, because a lot of people, it's hard out there. You know what I
Man,
mean?
relationships are difficult, and it's a work. It's work. You have to work at love because work is. I mean, love is an action word anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So
action.
so real quick, just to go into
Yeah,
my
no, go ahead.
story, is the fact that so I knew for some reason mine is a little different of a law of attraction. Mine was
Okay.
more like things just falling into place.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
like for instance, um, the very first time I met my wife was in junior high.
Right.
So in 7th grade, I already had a crush on her in 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that one of these days I was gonna date her.
Right.
Just one day. I didn't know when. I just felt like it was gonna be one of these days.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day in high school, my mom saw her before my mom passed, and she asked me why don't I date her before she even knew that I already had a thought in my head that I wanted to date her one day.
Right. Oh,
Right.
that's crazy.
Right. So I'm just sitting there like,
Oh, how did your mom meet
she
her?
didn't meet her. She was picking me up. My mom was picking me up from school,
Oh, okay.
and she just
Just
happened
saw
to
her?
see her when I got in the car with her.
Uh-huh.
She pointed her out of all the other people that I was standing next to,
Uh-huh.
and she's like, why don't I date her?"
Almost like she knew.
Yeah, like I'm like, damn, mom, like, what do you? I didn't write no letters. I didn't have no
Mamas be
diary.
knowing, man. Mamas know.
Mamas
They
know.
can
They can
feel what
feel
you
with the
feel.
energy that I've given
Like,
off. So I'm
because
like,
you are literally an extension of her body.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean? So
exactly.
she feels what you feel.
Exactly. So she already knew, and I knew, like, and me, I like chocolate. So
Mm-hmm.
the funny thing is that a lot of people around me, because I said it before, like a lot of people thought I was only about Hispanic women. Like I love Mexican, any type of Hispanic woman, Puerto
Uh-huh.
Rican, no matter what. I was
Okay.
always dating that.
Right.
But and really in the back of my mind, I was like, man, I like these. I like these chocolate. I like chocolate.
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Exactly. So I was all about those are my two go tos, but it's always chocolate and then Hispanic, and then it's just like, but yeah. So and then in high school, like I said, my mom saw her. Then she asked me out, and I happened to be dating a Hispanic at the at the
Oh,
time.
Right.
And then I was like, damn, okay, whatever. I had to turn her down because I was, faithful to the person I was with at the time.
Right.
And then after high school, we kind of stopped. Like we didn't really have too much interaction with each other.
Mhm.
And then I was doing that whole sleeping around situation, right?
Mhm.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm done with everything. I'm gonna be alone, and the next person that comes into my life, if and there's probably only there's only a select few that I'm ever going to give an opportunity to,
Right.
and then for some reason we just randomly started talking again,
Mhm.
and it was not random. It was just like all these thoughts in my head saying that I'm done with sleeping around, done with relationships. I was done with relationships. I was
Yeah.
only gonna give a select few one full shot, and that was gonna be my last shot.
Mhm.
And she was the one that came and ran, and we started talking, and I was like, this is it. This is the time where I'm going to give my all into this relationship. I'm not going to run. I'm not
Mhm.
going to make excuses. I'm going to really try to show love to this person, and she's chocolate.
Hmm.
I've always wanted to date her in the first place. My mom, before she passed, was like, "Why don't I date her?" So it was like divine
Mhm.
to me. So there has to be something going on.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
100%.
like, okay, this is it. This is what I got to do.
Yeah.
So long story short, we got
That's
together,
it.
and now we're married.
Yep.
And we've
Yeah.
known each other for so damn long too. So
Exactly. So and that's kind of similar to what I did. We're just talking about like I'm gonna be alone, right?
yeah,
You said I'm done with that. I'm gonna
I'm
be
done with.
alone. Work on you.
I even told her that. I was like, "Look, woman, this is my last relationship. We have to work. Like, if we don't work, there's no more
And how old were
relationships for
you?
me."
Like 20,
23.
23. That's crazy because you were young, but you already felt like you were like super old in the game. Like I'm tired of dealing with this.
Because well, one, I've always had an old soul.
Yep,
Like,
same. I
so
was 19 when I met my wife. No, yeah, 19, 20. And at that time, same thing. I felt like I was over it. I'm only 20 years old. You know what I mean? I'm thinking back at it like, man, I was barely getting started.
man,
But
well,
like,
see, the thing is too is like I was wilding at 18, well, or 19 actually, because 18 I got with somebody, and then at 19 we broke up, and then
uh-huh.
after her, oh,
It was
it was
over.
on for from 19 to 23. It was just Sex City,
Uh-huh.
and just everybody was getting taken down, and it was not even like me trying to do that.
Yeah.
I actually was trying to get into relationships. I kind of felt used, honestly,
Yeah.
because a lot of the women I was getting with was only there for that, and none of us ever clicked for a relationship type of
Uh-huh.
situation.
Right,
So
right.
that's the reason why I got old so fast, because I was like, man, this whole time I was looking for a girlfriend, and every single time I find somebody, we have sex, and then we just stop talking. So it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, it's like or we have sex for a long period of time, but we
Mm-hmm.
never
Never connect.
never really tried to do anything but outside of that.
Right.
So it's
Yep.
just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm
Mm-hmm.
done. I'm over it. And so, like I said, I've always hung out with older people. So like
Mm-hmm.
I've always had an old soul at heart. So I was just over
Same.
it really quickly.
Yep. Same. Same. What were you gonna add? Were you gonna bring another story? Because I know you were just going off of mine.
Oh no! I was just going off of yours to see,
Okay.
and I was gonna go
Yeah.
back to see if you had anything else
No,
to
no,
say
yeah, no. So
on
I,
your
I was,
side.
yeah, no, I was pretty much done. I'm just saying, like, any fellas, if you want to attract that partner into your life, you have to be that thing first. There is no way you will attract a faithful, beautiful woman into your life unless you become beautiful and faithful to yourself first. That's all I was gonna add to it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
law of attraction is real. You have to be what you want.
And since love is an action word, if you do not love yourself, you cannot love anybody else. Because
Period.
if you won't take the time to do the actions of loving yourself, how can you do the actions to love somebody else? It's just not.
Impossible.
It's impossible. You just can't do it.
Hmm.
That's just what it is.
That's what it is.
So like, yeah, I definitely believe the law of attraction. I could say this both ways. I could say that law of attraction is not real, and it's not necessarily the positive energy.
Hmm.
It could be just the fact that you are consistently those the positive thoughts is just a part of the equation.
Yeah, it's just part of it. Yeah,
So
I agree with that for sure.
not necessarily just the positive thinking is what manifests what you have. What ends up happening is when you start thinking positive consistently, you're going to want to do the work to get that positive result.
Positive actions
So
follow.
positive. So if you have, so you have to have positive thinking plus positive spiritually plus positive works, and when you combine all those things, it equals the manifestation of positivity. So, like, and then the same thing with negative. If you're consistently thinking
Yeah.
negative, if you're negative in your spirit, and you're not really doing much work, you're going to get negative results.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
just
Yep.
it's just what it is. And you know, case in point for me, like every single time I've ever tried to get a job, I was always I was always confident in getting the job. Like there was no doubt in my mind that if I was going to, or not going to get a job, even if like some one job excuse me, I'm like okay, all right, that job excuse me, I'm gonna go somewhere else then, whatever. It's not a big deal. And
Right.
then I go into the interview confidently. I'm positive this is going to be a great interview. They're going to love me, and I'm going to put in that work to make sure that I'm sought after. And so like I've never had every single time I was unemployed, I never had to what you call it fill out more than four applications. Like the very first job I ever had, same thing. I was super positive. I was in high school, 16 years old. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to get my first job. In fact, I'm gonna get. I was like, I'm going to land my dream job in the get go. So me loving music, I was like, I'm working for a music store. No, hands down, that's gonna be my first job. And the only place I actually applied to was Sam Goody. I was like, I'm not rocking with nobody but Sam Goody because it's a music store. I'm all about music. I was learning piano at the time. I'm like, this is my thing. I've always had a big love for music, obviously.
Yeah.
So the very first interview, the dude's like, man, you were just the one, like, because it was a group situation where there was a whole bunch of people being interviewed at the same time, and he told me that I was the only one that wasn't trying to go overboard. You were just confident, positive,
Yeah.
and you weren't trying to impress at such a high level.
Yeah. Not trying to do
Not
too
trying to
much.
overdo anything. I was just
Yeah.
being me. I was like, look, I love music. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm a hard worker and blah 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 blah. And he chose me and one other person. And I was like, there we
Dope.
go. That was
There it is.
my first application.
See, I wish I
got
had
it.
that kind of confidence when I was 16. I'd have nothing like that. I had to
Oh
work to
nah.
get this confidence.
Well, I've always been highly confident of myself, but not only just myself, but the outcomes of life. So
Yeah.
like, which is why my wife tells me all the time, like I'm one of the reasons why she's capable of keeping positive is because I'm always optimistic about everything. So and I'm nonchalant. So it's like I don't really get out of my character for anything
Yeah.
because I don't think it's a lot of the time I don't think it's worth it. Yes, of course I get excited over things, but it's not like you'll see me jumping for joy and doing all this.
Yeah. No,
I'm
for
just
sure.
like, oh man, that's dope. I like that shit. That's dope.
Exactly.
And
But
then
at the same
that's
time, you
the
don't get
I,
low
I
either.
don't get low. I'm like, oh man, I'll do like that. Man, that sucks. But
You just keep
I
going.
gotta keep going. Like
Yeah.
that's just what it is. Like I can't allow my negative thoughts to control my life and
No.
control my actions. So I keep it positive at all times because it's like I know that there's so many people in a worse state than me. So I have in my head I have no room for what is the word I'm looking for? For complaining.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
room for complaining. Like my life is amazing compared to a lot of different things, and I'm not materialistic. So I feel like God has put that in me to not be materialistic. I never have been, and I never will be. Everybody was trying to buy Nikes at the time, and I'm like, I don't care about Nikes. I'll buy these Fila's and ones,
Yeah.
and I'll
And
rock
save your money for
uh,
something else.
yeah, I'll rock these Ross shoes like they were freaking Gucci's, and
Yeah.
and that didn't matter. I still was confident. I'm stomping. I'm beating people in basketball in these shoes that people would say are trash, and
Yeah.
and I
Exactly.
had hella friends. So it was like
Yeah, and confident people attract friends. You know, and people want to be around you because you're confident, you're
I'm
optimistic.
always
People love that.
positive. That's just that's the energy I give off. So like when you're giving off that type of energy, I notice that you get the same type of energy back. So yeah, some certain people will try to be negative, but then you just I'm leaving that over on the
Yeah,
side.
exactly.
You
It's
know,
not
it's
worth
not
draining your
worth
energy.
yeah, exactly, not worth draining my energy to take on yours.
Exactly.
So that's saved for my wife. When she's in a down spot, that's the only person I'm gonna
Yeah.
pour my full positivity into and actions. But yeah, so I definitely agree with. I actually do agree with law of attraction, but you have to make sure that you do the other parts of the equation
Yep.
besides
It's
just
not just
the
positive
positive
thinking.
thinking.
No.
Not just praying, which is one of the things that people think is positive
Mm-hmm.
thinking, or you can't just say, "God, please give me this," and He'll just give it to you. No,
Yeah, if you're not
sit
doing
on
the
your
word,
couch and watch TV and then get it. Like no.
yeah, 100%. No, yeah, you have to earn it. Like that's just how the world works. That's how God works, and
Hmm.
and I think a lot of people get discouraged. Just on a side tangent, get a little discouraged. With believing in God and things like that. Because like I prayed so hard and I was trying so hard for a week, and I didn't get this thing, and it's like,
You know how,
bruv, it takes years.
bruh, you know how annoying that is to me. That is
Yeah.
probably one of my biggest pet peeves of people is that they have the audacity to talk bad about God but yet don't do a damn thing for themselves.
Yeah.
Like if you think you're gonna just randomly get stuff from him, it's like you need to look at yourself in the mirror. What have you done?
What have
What
you
have you
done?
done to deserve anything that you claim that you should have?
Mm-hmm.
You've been like people that be running the streets, be consistently just screwing every single thing that walks,
Mm-hmm.
selling drugs, doing all these random killing people,
Yep.
raping people, doing all these random evil things and doing nothing to positive to get yourself out of something.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that you deserve something, like no, what are you doing? And then you'll sit there on the couch, not do a damn thing, and you're just like, oh, and then you're just sitting there playing video games, and that's all you do. It's like, what are you doing for yourself? Like you're not
Exactly.
doing anything. Like
100%. So before you go around being mad at God or whatever, look in the mirror first, just
be
like
mad
you
at
said.
yourself
Yeah, be
first,
mad at
because
yourself.
it's
Look at the
all
mirror first, because that's where it starts.
because God gives you choices. He gives you
Mm-hmm.
he gives you
Free will.
free will. Thank you. So you can choose whatever you want to. If you're I'm trying to give an example. So like if you're trying to uh I don't know if let's just say if you're trying to become a skateboarder, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do a kickflip and you stop skateboarding because you fall one time,
Mm-hmm.
how do you ever think you're gonna grow? Like that's just with
Yeah.
that's with anything. So if you're trying to if you're trying to get something, and you're discouraged after the first fail, because nobody is going to be perfect at something from the jump street, and you can never be perfect
Mm-hmm.
on a certain thing that you're trying to get, whether it be skateboarding, whether it be basketball, whether it be music, whether it be just working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
If you're not actually putting forth work and trying to learn every single day and grow your mind to the point where you're worth more than what you're getting. Because like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people think that they're broke because the government's just against them,
Yeah.
which is partially true,
Partially true.
which is
Yeah. Yeah.
partially
For
true
sure. Yeah.
in a certain sense.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's also the fact that you're not even trying to play the same game that these people are playing.
Yeah. You're not trying to
You're
learn
not
what
even
they're
trying to.
doing,
You're
trying
not
to leverage, like,
yeah,
do like,
you're not investing in anything.
mm-hmm.
You're not save even if you weren't investing, you're not saving your money for anything.
Mm-hmm.
You would rather go buy Jordans than go buy stock. Like that doesn't make any I would rather buy Nike stock than go buy
Then that,
Jordans.
right, right. Then buy the
So
actual sneakers.
exactly. And if I do have Nike stock, that's when I'll feel confident buying the shoes because
Mm-hmm.
I own a portion of the company.
Exactly.
Or putting your money in real estate. You're not putting forth anything to put your money in there.
Yeah.
Or you would rather sit down and watch TV, and then you're sitting there for 4 hours, and that could have been 4 hours where you're reading a book or reading something on something that can further your career.
Exactly.
So it's all on you. If you're making stupid choices, it's all on you.
And then God is going to start opening doors for you. That's when the law of attraction starts working. Doors start opening, and it kind of feels like everything's just falling into place. Like one thing. That's how life is. When your life is on a good trajectory, it just feels like everything just starts falling into place. You just got to keep putting in the work.
Especially like, have you ever been able to have you ever bought a car and you feel like you're the only person with the car, but once you buy it, every single turn you do,
you see that same
you see
car.
that same car.
Yeah.
Because now you're paying attention to what you got.
Now
You're paying attention around your surroundings, and you're like, oh man, oh damn, there's my car. All day. Why hadn't I see all these cars? Because you weren't even thinking about it at that time. You weren't even thinking about a goal. And then once you got that goal, or once you got a random thing and you got a car that you weren't even thinking about, now you're thinking about it all the time. So now you're more observant to see it.
Yep.
And that goes with everything that
with
you
opportunities in life, right?
Yeah.
If you start to see opportunities, you start to switch your mindset in life instead of being a victim and all these bad things are happening to me. Like, start looking to see opportunities in how you can better yourself, and watch how you see how many opportunities there are.
Once you land one opportunity in there, you'll start to see all these other opportunities.
Exactly.
And once you start thinking positive, that's when your mindset will allow you to see these opportunities. So, like, for instance, right now, I'm learning this whole situation with stock and everything, and I'm with this company, Consumer Cooperative Group, that you're into as well. You're a part of as well. So today there was a video that just came across my YouTube feed that talked about some of the similarities of what he was doing, and I was like, dude, I sent it to him. I sent it to the owner. I was like, dude, look at what I just watched. And he watched it, and I was like, "Man, this is randomly came up on my feed." And he's like, "Nothing happens randomly.
Nothing is random.
Yeah, nothing is random. You came across that because you manifested it. It was something that you're going down this path, and now that you've been always researching it and doing things, you're going to run into something else that stamps what I'm saying, and that's what's been happening this whole time. I've been you haven't yet. But I've been watching his videos, reading the laws and everything that he talks about, and literally all the time I keep saying randomly, but I keep running into more and more stuff that stamps his
things that he's already said. You're like, oh damn,
said.
okay.
So I'm like, damn, okay, I get it now. I get why we're doing what we're doing, and this is definitely the path I want to go down. Because this is what's going to set me apart from the rest.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Yeah. So if you want to set yourself apart from the rest, you need to think positively. You need to have positivity in your spirit and your heart.
Yep.
And then you need to do the positive works to achieve any goal that you want to have. And those opportunities will start showing bright, man.
I agree with that 100%. Those are the 3 keys to success, guys. Without those, you can pray all day long, but it's never gonna happen.
Exactly. If you ain't doing nothing to achieve what you're praying for, it ain't gonna happen.
So that's it, guys. Tell us what you think. Do you think the law of attraction exists? If so, how do you think it works? How have you made it work for you? Drop the comments below. Like, share, subscribe.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see you guys next time. Until then, we're out.
Deuces.
Where we keep going cause the party don't stop. We turn up, doing our thing, just living our lives, and we don't stop. Open mind group so you know we won't flop.